Hey folks, Simon here. I'll try and keep this quick. I want to talk about cross-chain bridging and then the Tau chart. Now, if you've seen some of my videos, you would have seen that I've mentioned that BitTensor has endless use cases, and already it has more than a dozen subnets under the BitTensor umbrella, which are the world's best, cheapest, fastest, yada yada yada. Now, one that isn't on this list is Subnet 106. So if you go to subnetalpha.ai, you can then scroll down to 106. Now, although it may not be the world's best, cheapest, or whatnot, it does do a thing which BitTensor will 100% need in the future. And this is a cross-chain bridge. So you can just check it out on Subnet Alpha. And also, if you go to dsvfund.com, then go to revenue search, there's a very good interview with 106 Void AI with Hansel here. So click that, and again, you'll find out in a nutshell what it does. But I thought I'd have a little stab at this. So if we get the doodles out, the way that I have in my head is that, let's say you're on a planet, and here we have Tau, okay? So here's Tau, and it can live in BitTensor. Let's say this planet is called BitTensor planet, and there are other planets out there. We have, let's say, planet Ethereum, we have planet Base, and there's all sorts of planets out there. But the thing is, Tau can only live on BitTensor planet. So what needs to happen is that there needs to be a bit of a bridge. Okay? And that's a way that crypto tokens can go onto other networks, but it needs to put on a bit of a spacesuit because it can only live in the atmosphere of BitTensor. So what happens is that you put it in a little spacesuit, and therefore you can see that this Tau here is now wrapped. And this spacesuit, let's call it an ETH spacesuit. So now this Tau can go across this bridge and then live on planet ETH, but it's wrapped in this ETH spacesuit. So it's called wrapped Tau. Okay, so that's like a basic way of how I always imagine in my head whenever you're talking about wrapped tokens. It's in a little spacesuit that means it can live on another planet. Now, some other things, some other projects that have tried to address this problem, what they've done is that they've looked at existing bridges that someone else has already created, and they've put like a bit of a toll booth at both ends. And so if anyone wants to go through them, they have to go through their toll booth. They take a bit of a commission, and that's that. Whereas what Void AI has done is that they're using Chainlink CCIP, which really is the gold standard for cross-chain bridges these days, and they're building their own bridge. So it's not just the toll booths, at both ends. They're building the whole bridge. So that's really, in a nutshell, what Void AI does. Now, what happened is that there was big fanfare about, these bridges are going to unlock loads of liquidity from, Ethereum or Base or Solana, etc. And then what happened is that not much happened. It was a bit of a nothing burger. And I said this during the development of all of this, that, you can wave a magic wand and these bridges would be built, but there'll be zero traffic because there's no forcing function. There's no big prod of all the inhabitants of Base Planet or Ethereum Planet to go and head this way to Planet BitTensor. However, there is one thing that will do that, and that is price. So this is where we need to get the chart out. So, and what I said is that when Tau starts mooning, and it will, that's when it will get more eyeballs from other ecosystems, and people will start trying to, convert their Ethereum that's on their MetaMask wallet and buy Tau, and then hopefully buy some subnets. So you've seen this before. I've said, I've said there's like a 95% correlation between the Tau's price and Ethereum in 2017. And you can see that it's really starting to get going here. So we've had a bit of a fake out. This was the Trump tariff type BS. And we've had this key level at sort of 375, where it looks like it's Koboing off of it. So it's busted through, so it's kissing off, and then buggering off this level here. So hopefully we are about to start that we phase here. And the beautiful thing, by the way, we have another key level here, which I know I've freehand doodled it, but there's a pretty important level at this sort of 450 level, which, you know, we really need to stick the landing on top of this, and then Kobo this 450 level, and then start this new angular step change to the upside. Now, the reason why I'm quite excited is that with the Trump sort of wobble, what's happened is that it brought Bitcoin from an all-time high of just north of 126k down to the low hundreds, and everything else has sort of toppled with it. Solana, like everything. If you look at any AI competitor, like Virtuals, still low, Render, Near, they're also very, very low. Claw, technically. The only one that has sort of held its ground is Tau. Tau is literally the only thing that in pretty much all of crypto that is bucking the trend and pumping. And when you look at Tau against Bitcoin, here we can see, like, obviously everyone says, oh, you know, Tau's done really bad against Bitcoin. Yes, if you pick these highs, technically, yes, for the last year, it has gone down. But if we were just to move this orange line to where it is now, Tau right now is at the same level as Bitcoin, many other points over the last sort of year and a bit. So if you bought £100 or dollars worth of Tau and Bitcoin on the 18th of June, you'd be at parity right now. And again, there's many other points. Obviously, Bitcoin had its little run in the sun there. So, but again, Tau compared to pretty much everything else, Tau's done pretty well. So when, and I believe it is when, Tau does its thing, a lot more eyeballs are going to fixate on it, and then they'll start trying to figure out how to get involved in Tau, whether they learn and put the hard effort and learn it properly, or they try and just use some bridges to wrap stuff up and get into BitTensor. You can see we're looking at the Tau market cap. We're about 4.6. We really need to stick the landing on top of 5 billion, and then it's off to the races. And in terms of market cap, so percentage of total market cap, hopefully we're getting out of this horrible doldrum sort of area between 0.07 and 0.12%, and then we can start racing up this. And so, yeah, this really does bring us back to Void. You know, it's becoming one of the most, I think it will be an incredibly important infrastructure within the BitTensor ecosystem. It's the bridge that connects Tau and subnet tokens to the wider crypto world. And in November, the Ethereum bridge goes live. This will make Ethereum the main hub for Tau and subnet liquidity across every CCIP supported ecosystem. Through Chainlink's cross-chain interoperability protocol, Tau and subnet tokens will move seamlessly between Ethereum, Base, Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon, and more, safely and efficiently. Ethereum becomes the grand central station for BitTensor assets, connecting decentralized AI with global DeFi. So yeah, 2025 has been a year of huge progress, and Void AI has delivered audited smart contracts, cross-chain testing, live liquidity routing, and validator integration. And already revenue is being generated from the bridge activity. Again, I stress that I would highly recommend going to that revenue search and watching the Void AI.
Welcome to Revenue Search.
Yeah, and then you can check out Hansel and his answers to all of this. What have I missed? So yeah, they're making revenue from the bridge activity already, and that revenue is put to work automatically, funding continuous buybacks of both Subnet 106, which is Void AI, and also Tau. Each transaction strengthens the subnet, increases liquidity, and rewards long-term holders. So Void AI isn't just building bridges, it's connecting intelligence, liquidity, and value across the multi-chain economy. So yeah, big things in November when the Ethereum bridge goes live, and I hope this makes sense. Sorry for the hurried and rushed video, but I just thought I'd get it out there. Cheerio. Bye bye.